My piece is called Deeper Than Hair, a collective call to action. I was excited the first time I voted, but the excitement for this election was particularly electrifying. In some way, my voice felt stronger with this vote, stronger than in previous elections. I'll never forget when I heard the results. I was in the car, the radio was on, and I was more pumped than I had ever been for pretty much anything ever. The date was November 4th, 2008. Were you an active part of history? Did you let your voice be heard, or did you sit on the sidelines passively waiting for the results, offering your unwarranted opinions like the non-voting driver of the car that I was in, muttering phrases like, "Things won't change," and "he's just like the rest of them"? Here I was, a black woman, or more precisely, a mixed-raced woman, whose very existence was frowned upon by her grandfather for the color of her skin, a woman who had been called a nigger by her own uncle, a mixed woman who some believe shouldn't exist based on the notion that my mother and father should not have procreated. After years of trying to figure out who I was going to be, years of trying to figure out my place in American society, change was happening. For the first time in my life, the American people had used their collective voice to create visible change. I was 25 in 2008. Society had yet to define my role in the country. Then I was fortunate enough to have two strong women in my life who told me that I could be whatever I wanted. More than ever in 2008, their words resonated. I believed them. In the 4 years between President Obama's first and second term, I came into my own. I grew as a woman, as a musician, and as a voice to inspire others. Now, I'm not saying that President Obama had any direct causation on my personal growth and development, but having a prominent leader of color during my formative 20s definitely had its moments of inspiration. And while we know the outcome of the 2012 presidential election, it's important to acknowledge the outcome of the voter turnout as well. Many of you answered yes to my opening question, and regardless of how you voted, you proudly voiced your thoughts and offered your opinions, and just like me, you excitedly awaited the results of the 2008 election. Then suddenly, as is stricken by illness, many of you decided your voices didn't matter anymore. One victory and suddenly the fight was over. Mothers and fathers were openly teaching their children not to care about the future of the nation they call home. Many of you joined or rejoined the group of passive Americans who no longer fought. They complain and offer their opinions, but do nothing more to make changes happen. In an era where everyone gets a trophy and everyone can be a star in their own reality, people are less passionate and more savage. Our generation has created an era where over half of the voting population believes their voice doesn't matter and that doing the work is pointless. The social ramifications of something as small as choosing not to vote go deeper than the roots of my natural hair. They extend into the fiber of my being, and they connect us to one another. It's our job, our charge, our responsibility to raise passionate youths, to raise a nation of leaders and free thinkers. How dare we, as the adults of our nation, sit by silently and inattentively to let the savage inherit the land? If you are unwilling to do the work, let me say to you, we have 4 years to completely undo our lackadaisical way of thinking. 4 years to undo generations of self-hate and self-oppression. How do we unmute the voices of all those who feel silenced? How do we empower the self-appointed powerless? How do we give the people their voice? My people, your people, black people, brown people, white people, everyone stuck in the middle, American people. In a democratic society where love is the winning affection, we have let hate prevail. By believing your voice won't make a difference, you've taught our youth that their voices will not matter. We are unwilling to do the work, and I fear our youth don't even know what the work is. Vote because your voice is strong. Vote because you can. Be heard because you are already being watched, and now is the time for growth. Now is the time for change, and now is the time to not give up.